Very good evening, all of you. Hope you all are doing well. Let's start with today's session. Quick recap of last session. Last session, we discussed about how to do connectivity between Python and MySQL. So initially, I told you why we need this connectivity because we want to take benefit of MySQL database management system as well as the host language Python. Then the architecture I told you, your Python host program, then the connector, and your MySQL database management system. That connector is the main role player. It does the handshaking between your application and the backend, right? It is taking queries from the application, giving it to the backend, taking a result from the backend, and then providing the result back to your application. Okay? Then last time we started with programming. Initially, I told you need to have MySQL server and MySQL workbench installed. So that I showed you. Then we need the connector, PyMySQL, which is a Python library, specially Python library made to connect with MySQL. So we saw how to install that PyMySQL connector, right? Then we wrote some simple scripts. First script we saw how to do connection. Then I said if you want to do send the queries, then you need a cursor object. So you get the cursor object, and through cursor object we execute the query. Okay. And then we saw how to insert record, then hard coded, then changing records, the values which are changing that we saw. Then next we'll see how to insert multiple records in a batch form. Like you're having a set of records. So in one go only, in one statement only, how you can insert multiple records. From your perspective, it is one statement. Internally, it will do it through loop only. But for us, it becomes easy. Getting? So first you create a list of tuples, and each tuple will represent a record. You create a list of records, and in that list, each record will be one tuple. Okay? See, data is equal to, and you're creating a list of tuples, first tuple, second tuple, third tuple, and each tuple is representing a record, right? Employee ID, employee name, salary, employee ID, employee name, salary. Then you're writing a query, and this is a query with placeholder CF, percentage, percentage, percentage. First percentage, that ID will replace. Second percentage, name. Third percentage, salary. We have just created a query as a string, and then we call execute many. So till last session, we were just calling execute. Till last session, we were just calling execute. Now we are calling execute many. Give the query and give that data. So this execute many is going to run this query internally, repeatedly for each tuple in that list. So it will execute this query once for the first tuple, again one more time for the next tuple, again one more time for the next. So in short, it is going to run the same query. How many times? As many values are there in that list. But it is avoiding programmers' work of writing what? The loops and all, writing that for loop and all. That is avoided. Who is taking care of it? This execute main. You just have to pass the query and pass the list of records. Okay? And I hope about commit, I have told you last time. Whenever you're doing any data manipulation, you're doing insert or delete or update, all these manipulations are happening in the primary memory. If you want that changes to be reflected on the secondary memory, you have to call commit. Commit makes that changes permanent. Okay. So this way you can execute, execute insert how many times? This is the insert query, and you're executing this insert how many times? As many tuples are there in the list. Okay? What the benefits you get? Faster insertion and single database call. Means you're just calling that method once only and just passing the query and the array. Okay? It is actually going to happen in a batch form, batch insertion. Understanding? One time only it is going to submit it by putting a comma and then the list. First it will substitute 100 Rahul, then comma again, and then it will build that batch query and send that batch query once only to the backend. And here, how many times you are interacting with the backend? Only once by calling execute main. Okay? I'll show you the effect. This we had done last time for single insertion dynamic. Okay? PDBC 6. Python database connectivity 6 pi. Right? Just to check whether the records are gone or no, you can keep MySQL Workbench running. We created this one. See, this should come. I think last time Morgan was having problem. Whenever you are trying to connect with MySQL through this platform, you have created some connection, right? Any connection you have created and kept. So when you click on it, it should ask for the authentication. Otherwise, then something is wrong. Okay. So last time we created this database only, company DB. I'll just use it. Actually, Workbench is just to test whether the operations are done successfully or not. Through Workbench, we are not going to submit any query. Everything we are going to do it via script. I've shared the screen, na, guys. Screen is shared.
Yes, sir.
See, just to recall, I can copy paste it from another script. Okay, I can copy paste it, but for just for today, if you remember everything from the past lecture, we can do it again from the beginning just to recall. I'm doing. First, we have to import MySQL. Okay. Then first thing is to establish connection on pymysql.connect, and then the parameters were there, like host equal to localhost, comma, user equal to root, then password equal to root, then database equal to company DB. Actually, I can copy paste this. I could have copy pasted it from the other script, but just today to recall, right now, just for brush up purpose, I'm doing this. Once the connection object you get, using connection object, we will get cursor object. I told you, no? And without cursor object, you cannot send the query. If you want to submit query, you need this cursor object. So I'm going to write con dot cursor. Okay? Because who gives you the cursor object? This cursor method of connection object. Who gives you connection object? This function in your PyMySQL library. In your PyMySQL module, there is one function connect. It takes all the connection parameter, establishes the connection. You get a connection object. Using connection object's cursor method, you get a cursor object. And using cursor object, we execute the query. Okay. First, I'll create one list of tuples. Okay. Let's see how many records we have already added. 103. So I'll take 104, 105, 106, right? Sufficient. One more I add. Okay? This is the list, and the list contains tuples. And for each tuple, I have to perform insert query. So I'll create a query first. This is just a query in string form. I have not yet submitted. In the string, I'm just storing. Insert into employee. There is employee table only. Values, and these are the placeholders. Means here, runtime values are going to get substituted. Insert into employee values, and these are the three placeholders. So when you are executing the query, these placeholders will be replaced by the values from that tuple. Okay. Now we will execute this query. How many times? As many values are there in the list. So I have to write cursor dot execute many. What I'll be passing? That query SQL and that data array, the list of tuples. So it is going to run this query in a batch form. How many for how many values? As many are there in this list. So in this list, as many records are there. For that whole batch, it is going to run this. It is actually going to substitute each value from the tuple in place of this. Okay? I'll just give a debug statement like records inserted successfully. Okay? And then I'm closing the connection. Con dot close. Okay? Which I told last time, isn't it? And one important thing I forgot. Before closing the connection, don't forget to commit the operation. Why we do commit? I told you all these operations are going to happen. Only which operation? Data manipulation. Data manipulation operations like insert, delete, update. So these operations happen only in primary memory. These all operations are going to happen in primary memory. If you want all these changes to reflect in the backend, that is in the database, you have to call commit. So once you call commit, the changes are made permanent and then you close the connection. Okay. Now the script is done. We will run this script, Python. Then the script name is pdc6. Enter. Now the whole script is executed and at the end we got statement records inserted successfully. This means that the operation is done. Now let's check it. Remember, Workbench I'm simply using for testing whether the operations are happening properly or not. Actually, Workbench is a client environment through which client can enter the query, give it to MySQL. MySQL will reply and show it in this environment. This is just a client environment. But as we are writing everything through Python, this environment only we are using for testing purpose. See, now if I run select star from employee, is it showing? Are all the records added? See, 104, 5, 6, 7. And try to run the same script by not putting commit. Wait, guys. Okay, there's some disturbance from my side. Actually, I'm not taking classes from my hometown. I've come to some other location for conducting training in some college. So what happens is from there I have to take. So I have to face this all disturbances. When I take from my house, though it is completely isolated. You'll never face such problem. Anyway, just can you give me quick confirmation?
Sir, I have doubt.
Huh?
Sir, how you are running that Python slash dot slash, right? You are giving the file path. So that file is storing in that location. So,
Huh? It is in the terminal. I'm storing in that folder only. Na? I created that folder, and then in VS Code, I'm opening that folder only. Na?
okay.
See, I'll show you again. I'm closing the folder. So whenever I open VS Code, okay, whenever you open, I open that folder only. Na? Here there is the option open folder. So I'm going to my folder only, which I created. We have created this basic Python April 2026. Okay, so the folder is open. Then here I'm creating file plus, and then I create file, I save it. And then when I come to terminal, by default, I'm in that. You can open your terminal from here also. Terminal, new terminal.
Okay.
So I come in that folder only. So my script is anyway in that folder. I just write Python and then the file name
Okay.
pdc6. If you press tab, no? Tab is
Mm,
there. Automatic
mm.
it will complete. Hitting enter. Now if I press enter, what will happen? It will insert all these records again, but it will give a error. Why? Because these are primary keys. No? We have given a primary key, I guess, when I created this table, employee ID. So it will not insert that.
So in any folder we can keep it. Just we can use open that folder. That's it. Python is different location. That is not.
No problem.
Okay. Okay.
Because it
Okay.
depends on when you are installing Python, that time you have to tick mark that path. So from anywhere you can take it. Okay? See here, when I executed the same script, is it throwing an exception? You can handle this exception. I'll show you how you can write this whole code in a try catch, in a try except block. And then if an exception occurs, it will come to except block. There you can give appropriate error message. But now, as we have not handled any exception in this script, in this entire script, I haven't handled any exception. So therefore, it is throwing that error. Can you see? Duplicate entry 104. Actually, this is a matching done from the backend error to Python error. Actually, in the backend, MySQL has generated primary key error, primary key violation. So your connector has done the compatibility. That MySQL error, it has matched to the appropriate Python exception. So in Python, it is integrity error. That is the exception. But in reality, that primary key violation has happened in the MySQL side. So whatever errors occur in MySQL, that connector matches that error to appropriate Python exceptions. And it gives that, throws that exceptions in your Python script. And that is only the role of that connector. That connector is doing the same work. It is matching or it is making the compatibility between MySQL errors to appropriate Python exceptions. Okay? Okay. So just give me confirmation.
Yes, sir. Understood.
Sure, no? Others. No, others I don't know. Siley has not attended from long time. She's in connection or no, don't know.
Uh, Hello, sir.
Huh.
Yes, I'm finding it little difficult to connect today, uh,
Not,
as
yes,
I
last
did
lecture,
not
no,
attended on.
last lecture, Monday lecture I'll upload. I'll upload it. You go through
Hmm,
that Monday lecture.
correct.
Quite simple.
Okay,
It's
okay,
quite. uh,
okay. Yeah,
So
yeah.
you go through that lecture and then,
I mean, currently we are doing the same thing.
huh, second lecture of database connectivity. Tuesday there was no session. Monday
Okay.
we started with this database connection.
Yes.
So in that I told all
Hmm,
things.
hmm, hmm. Yes, yes.
Okay. and then we are
Okay.
continuing from there. Okay. Now we
Okay.
have seen how to insert records. Next, we'll see how to retrieve records. Now, retrieving will be done by select query, isn't it or no? For retrieving, what is the query? Select query. So from your side, you'll submit a select query. Means from Python script, you will send a select query. Your connector will submit it to MySQL. MySQL will run it, and the result of that query, obviously it is a select query, na? So you'll get output as for the select query, the row set or the result set, or you call it as a record set. So that will be sent by MySQL back to your Python. So your connector will take that records and make it available to your Python script. Python script will fetch that records one by one and show it to the end user. Getting? So how to do that fetching and all, I'll tell you. See. So you can fetch that records by many ways. In that first one is fetch one. So it will fetch only one record at a time. Okay. So whatever query you have submitted, which query? Obviously select query. Retrieving is done only by select query. So from your Python script, cur dot, what you'll write? How do you submit queries? Through cursor object. No? Who gives you cursor object? Connection object. Connection objects, cursor method, con dot cursor method will give you cursor object. Cursor objects which method? Execute. Okay. Now to execute, you'll give the select query. That query. It is going to be select query only. Getting? So this select query via connector, it will be submitted to MySQL. MySQL will run it. The result of that query is again sent, and the connector is making that result available to your application. Now, only the thing is we have to fetch it. So how you'll fetch it? By fetch one. So you will write cur dot fetch one. So it will fetch only one record from the result of that select query, the first one. And that record will come in a tuple form. You can print that tuple. You'll get a tuple and then you can print that tuple. Okay. If you again say fetch one, so it will fetch the next record. At a time, it is going to fetch only one record. You can put it in a loop, but generally fetch one you should use for such query, which is going to return only one record, especially like aggregate. You're sending an aggregate query. So aggregate is always going to return one single value. So that time use this. Okay. See, returns one row, and that row will come in a tuple form. It is going to come in a tuple form. And then can you access tuples? Yes, in basic Python, we have studied tuple and all. Can we access it using indexes? Zeroth index, first value in the tuple, one, second value in the tuple. Okay. So cur dot execute, I'm giving the query, select star from employee. And then cur dot fetch one. It is going to fetch only the first record from the result of that query. Select star from employee. This query gone to backend. Backend has executed it. The result of that query is coming back to application. And application is fetching one row from that result and giving you cur dot fetch one. You got one record. You can print and see that record. Okay? It is going to be a tuple, right? Fetch many is also there. Means at a time it is going to fetch all the records. So all the records will come in the form of list of tuples. And once you get a list of tuple, can you use a for loop and retrieve each record? Yes. And if you're very expert Python coder, so you can use even function arrow functions and make the code smaller. Lambda functions we have studied, and arrow functions. So you can use map or all those things. Okay, I'll create one more script. I'll show you. PDCB, Python database connectivity 7 pi. Now, I'm not going to write that initial code over here, this connection code and all. Okay, till cursor I'll keep seeing. Okay, so I'm first importing that library, then connection established. We got a connection. Then using connection objects cursor method, we are getting a cursor. Now cursor dot execute and pass the select query. If you want to keep that query separately in some string variable like this, select star from employee, select star from employee. Now I'm going to write cur dot execute and I'll pass the query. Okay. So this select query through this execute method, it has actually gone to backend. Backend has executed it. The result of that query, as it is a select query, the result will be in the rows and column form, na guys, as it is a select query. So output is in a table form, rows column, which we call it as a row set or result set or record set. So that record set backend has made it available back to your application. Okay, now your application is supposed to read it by using fetch one. Only one record will be fetched. Cur dot fetch one. Okay, and you can print and see that row. In this case, there is no need to write commit. There's no concept of commit. Why? Because it's not doing any changes in the database. It is just retrieving values from the backend, right? Okay, you can run Python pdbc dot, and you can keep pressing tab till you don't get the correct one. 7. See, is it displaying the first record of that query? So fetch one, it is going to fetch only one record at a time. Understanding? One record at a time. Suppose in this only, if I'm writing one more time, is it fetching the next record? First I wrote fetch one. So first record it has fetched, it gave you. Again you're calling fetch one. It is going to fetch the next record because it fetches one record only at a time. So you can put this in a loop also. I'll show you that too. See, instead of doing this, okay, I can write a while loop like this. While row equal to cur dot fetch one colon, right? No, I think directly we cannot write through some infinite loop. I can direct such assignments are not allowed. Okay, I can put true infinite while loop. I put, then I'll fetch this, and then I'll check whether that row means that row is not empty, because one stage will arise when you reach beyond last record. Cur dot fetch one, it will retrieve the first record, then second, then third, and when all the records are fetched, like if there are 10 records, and you attempt to read the 11th record, is 11th record there? Suppose you are having only 10 record and you are attempting to read 11th record. So 11th record is not there. You are trying to still fetch it. So obviously it is going to come empty. none, and none is false. And if it is not empty, so it will be true only. So if row, okay, colon, then print that row. Okay, or you can say if not row, not also you can say. Not operator we have studied in Python. If not row, then break. Otherwise, print that row because that row is not empty. If the row is empty, so empty rows not will be true and it will break. And if the row is not empty, so not empty is not is false. So it will not go in if, it will come down. So this way we can keep retrieving the records. Retrieve, print it, retrieve, print it. See, is it printing? It retrieved first record. First record retrieved. Is the tuple empty tuple? It is containing 101 Amit Shah 45,000. So is it empty? No. So as it is not an empty tuple, so non-empty tuples not is false. And therefore it will come down and print it. Again come up, fetch the next record. This way, when it attempts to read after 107, when it attempts to read, so there is no record only now after 107, and still it is attempting to fetch. What will come in row? Empty, empty row, blank, empty will come. And empty is not is true, and true therefore break, and it will come out and close the connection. Okay, so this way also you can do. There are many other ways also, right? Can you give me confirmation about this way?
Yes, sir.
Then we have fetch many also. Fetch many. So what it does is it is going to fetch at a time as much number you give to it. Like fetch many 5. So at a time 5 records it will fetch and give you a list of that 5 records. Actually, it is going to be list of tuples, and each tuple will represent one record. And as much number you have given, it is going to fetch that many record. So that many tuples will come in one list, and then you can traverse that list if you want. Okay. So returns specified rows. Returns specified rows. As much count you give over here, only that much records it is going to return. Okay, see here. Cur dot execute, select star from employee. So we are having around 8 records in our employee table. So all those 8 records will come from the backend and it will make those 8 records available to your Python script. And now Python script is calling cur dot fetch many 3. So from that 8 record, only the first 3 records will come in this rows. And is this rows a list of tuples? Getting list of tuples. So can I use it in a for loop? This is a list. So will it keep fetching one value in the row? For loop, no? For loop is applicable only on iterable object. So this is an iterable object. It is a list of tuples. So will it fetch one tuple at a time? So first tuple will come in row, print it. Next tuple, print it. Third tuple. But after that, we don't have only for loop will automatic stop. Okay? See ya. I'll write a script over here. pdcb 8 dot py. Again, some part I'm sorry, this part name. Some initial part I'll keep it same. Even the query, even clear. Okay. Library import connection established using connections cursor method. We got cursor. This is our query. Then cursor's execute method, I'll give the query. Actually, all the records of that query, whatever query you have given, the result of that query is made available to your application. Now your application is just going to fetch from that result. Okay? See it. So how many rows? It is up to you. Cur dot fetch many, and suppose I'm giving 3. If you want, you can print and see only rows. It will be a list of 3 tuples. See it. Call dot close. See. Is it returning a list of 3 tuples? You can check the output, guys. See. Is it a list of tuples? And how many tuples have come in it? 3 only. First tuple, second tuple, third tuple. Why? Because I gave fetch many 3. So only 3 records from that result set are fetched and they are given in this rows. So that rows is a list of tuple and one tuple represents one row. Now suppose I don't want this. Okay? So you can print them one by one through a for loop. See, can I write like this? For row in rows. Rows is a list of tuple. So when you apply a for loop on it, will it give one by one value in that row? So one value is one tuple. So first tuple will come in row. Second tuple next time. Third tuple will come in the row. And then you can print that row. Okay? See. Are we printing each tuple one by one? You can even print each value also separately. Getting? You can unpack that in 3 different variables. Instead of fetching it as a tuple, you can directly fetch and unpack in 3 variables. See, like this. You can do like this also. ID, comma name, comma sal. These are the 3 temporary variables. So it is fetching one tuple and that tuple is getting unpacked in 3 variables. And you can print that 3 values like this. See, can I write percentage %d? All things in basic Python we have studied. %d. Then suppose I'm writing percentage %10d. So it will create a width of 10 for integer. Next is percentage 15s for name. Then for salary, I'm writing percentage 10.2f. Means it will create a width of 10 and in that 10 only 2 digit for precision. Percent and then give the tuple that values which you have splitted from the tuple ID, comma, name, comma, salary. So every time what will happen? Will it take one tuple from the row? From that rows, one tuple is fetched. And that tuple, when it is fetched, it is directly unpacked in these 3 variables. Tuple is fetched and they are unpacked in this 3 variable. And then that 3 variables we are printing here in a formatted way. Okay? So you can check that also. See. Is it printing? 10 width for ID, 15 width for name, and 10 width for salary, in which 2 digit is for precision. So in a well formatted way, we are displaying. Okay? Yes, give me confirmation.
Yes,
It
sir.
depends on the
Understood.
number. Okay?
Sir,
Others,
instead of fetch many, we have to give the number. So we don't know end of how many rows. So we have to give fixed number.
no, this is when you want to fetch specific number. If you want all, then there is third method given called fetch all.
Okay.
You can use fetch all. So fetch all will retrieve all the records and give you in that list of tuple. In this case, you don't have to give any error, number. It will fetch all the records and that all records are put into that list of tuple and then you can print them. Okay? So this is when you need specific number.
Suppose last five record like that. So it is coming from first onwards. First five record, first 10 record like that. So
Huh.
last five in that
Then you
case.
make the change in the query only. Or if you want that way, then whatever tuple you have got, you traverse it in that way, in the reverse way. Come from last, you give here square bracket minus 5 colon. Getting, na? In Python, whenever we write, this is going to be a list. So in that list, if I write start as minus 5 colon and end I'm not giving. So it will start from where? From minus fifth record and end not given. So it will go till the end. So last five records only it is going to fetch. Right? I think you are trying to match it again with Pandas library. Right? In Pandas, we have that head, tail, sample. Those are the methods provided by Pandas. Here, if you want, then make the change in the query only like that. You send the query only in that way. Okay? So fetch fetches one record, fetch many fetches as many records number you give, fetch all fetches all the records. Okay? And though if you want last five record, then whatever array you have got, traverse that array in that way. Here you can give square bracket minus 5 colon. So it will take everything from last five record. Okay. So returns all rows. See here, cur.fetch all will give you all the rows as a list of tuples. And then through the for loop, you can fetch all the tuples one by one. Okay. See, 9 I do dot py. Some initial part is same. Okay. The query is same. Select star from employee. You get the query. Query executed. Now you need to fetch it. So you can fetch all at a time if you want by using cur.fetch all. All the records will come. If you want to print and see that rows, okay, cur.fetch all, you'll get rows and print and see. Will it be a list of tuples? Print rows. So it will print a list of tuples at a time. See, is this a list of tuples? First record, one tuple, second record, second tuple, third tuple, fourth tuple. So it is creating a list, tuple of tuple, not list of tuple of tuples. Actually, it will create a tuple only because immutable. You know? They say it is immutable. Once you get the records, you cannot modify them. You can just traverse them and print them. I hope you remember, tuple is immutable. So as it is immutable, they say you cannot change them. Whatever you have got, you can just traverse it and access them, print them. Okay. Now, instead of directly printing the tuple of tuple, you can print them in a loop as well, like this for row in rows. And then I'm printing that row. Okay. So this loop is fetching one tuple at a time from that a tuple of tuples. So one tuple at a time will come here and you're printing one tuple at a time printing. Now you don't want this also, more formatted you want. So I told you, each tuple when you're fetching, Directly you unpack it in three different variables, like this ID name Sal. So from this rows tuple, one tuple is coming, but that tuple is directly getting unpacked in three variables. And you can print that three variables. With just now in a formatted way, I told you, percentage 10s, or now I can take percentage 5D. Okay, then percentage 15s I'm doing. Percentage 10.2f. And then whatever values you want to substitute here, that values will come from a tuple. So I'll write percentage ID, comma name, comma Sal. Is this ID name Sal for every iteration changing? Yes. For every iteration, one tuple is coming from that tuples, from many tuples, one tuple at a time. One tuple fetched, it is unpacked, printed. Next time, next tuple fetched, unpacked, printed. Okay? See. Is it printing all the records in a tabular form? Okay. Now, as he was saying, can we print only the last five record? See here, I can do like this, 5 colon. Anyway, it is a tuples tuple. It is a tuple of tuples. So I can do slicing on list, on tuple. Slicing is allowed. No? Start position, end position, step. Okay. Is it displaying the last five records? So in that tuples tuple, it has come to which position from the last? Fifth position. And as end is not given, it will go till the end of the list from that place till end. So how many records are there after that? Five. That five records are printed. Suppose only first five records you want. Okay. So don't give start. Give this end. Colon 5. Now colon 5 means it will start from 0 and stop at 4. Because when you give start and end is exclusive. All the things in basic Python we have learned, guys. If you have forgotten basic Python, then I cannot help you. Okay? See. Is it printing the first five records? Okay. Every alternate record, if I want to print, just write colon colon 2. So it will take first, third, five, like that. Getting? So all the provision, this is this is nothing with the database. Database has done its work. It has run the query and given you the records. Now, how to display that record is Python's job. Right? Python is taking Python's ability. Python has this list and tuples and this slicing and all that advantages we are taking. Okay? Is it displaying alternate record? 101, 103, 105, 107. Okay? So I hope all the three ways of retrieving are clear to you. Sure, if it is then you can.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
Hmm. Huh. Asai.
sir,
Huh.
is it possible, like when we fetch all the records, we can do all the querying part in the query itself and only filter out the records? Is it possible?
So in the query only you write
Instead
that.
of fetching all the records in our Python code? Ha, correct.
Yeah.
It is possible, right?
But then you
Ha.
have to see in the query how do we write? Like only the last five or
Right. So you should
first
be
five.
strong.
Then you have to use that limit and all, limit offset and all that things. So then,
Hmm.
if you remember,
Correct. Correct.
in SQL we have that limit
Okay.
clause,
Okay.
then offset clause that you can use and then uh, to MySQL only you're telling, please give me only these records so that this side work is less. But doesn't make difference. If you do it in Python also, Python does it more faster. If you, I understood what is your point, that
Okay.
instead of doing here,
Yeah, yeah.
why not to tell to MySQL only, please give me
Hmm.
these records only, which I want, isn't it? So you can give that offset and all, and then you limit
Yes.
offset. With that, you can fetch. That is called as pagination concept in MySQL part. So you can do. That is valid.
Okay. Okay, got it. Okay. Yeah, all clear, sir. Yeah.
Updating the record. Next, we'll see how to update from the application. We can update records also. Same thing as we did it for insert, similar sort of thing. Query, you will build the query, and this query is with the placeholders. Like you're updating employee table and the salary you are changing of which employee whose ID you are giving. So whichever values are going to come dynamic, there you can write this placeholders, percentage, percentage. Now you'll say, is it only percentage every time? If you use, then also doesn't matter. MySQL doesn't complain. If you give it as a string, then also it will treat it as numbers only at appropriate place. So update employee, set salary equal to placeholder, where employee ID equal to placeholder. Then execute the query. Give the query and the values which you want to substitute. This is the tuple of values. So first value is put in the first placeholder, second value in the second placeholder. So who is the first placeholder? This salary equal to. So 65,000 is substituted here, 102 here, and then the query is executed. Commit is necessary. Why? Because it won't make these changes permanent in the backend. If you want these changes to be reflected in the secondary, in your database, then commit is necessary. Okay? And give the message. You can ask this from the user also and do it. Instead of instead of giving hard-coded value, you can accept it from the user as well. You can do file new file from there also, here also. 10.py. Okay. Initial part is same. Import connection, using connection, getting the cursor. Now what I'll do is I will create and keep the query as well. This query will be like this: update employee, set salary equal to percentage S, where ID, that is ID only, where we can see employee ID, EMP ID. So where EMP ID equal to percentage S. I hope the basic SQL queries you know, at least the basic queries, like the update syntax. So you're updating the employee table. But in employee table, what you're updating? The salary column. But whose salary? Whose ID is equal to this ID. So it is going to update that specific row only, whose ID is matching with this ID. Okay? So that part is done. Now we have to substitute the values and execute the query. So for that, first I'll accept that values from the user, like this: temporary sal equal to float input, enter new salary, then TID employee ID, integer, input, enter employee ID. Means whose salary I want to modify, that ID and the new salary. Order doesn't matter. First you can ask for ID and then salary. So first you're asking the ID of the employee and then you're asking the salary, the new salary. Now these two things should be replaced no, over here. So you can call cursor.execute query and create a tuple, TID, comma, tsal. I'm creating a tuple of that two values, TID, tsal. Because it's a syntax. Its syntax is like that. Execute, you have to give the query and you have to give a tuple of values which are going to get substituted in that query. So in that query, first percent is TID, second percent is tsal. Query executed. Then call con.commit. Otherwise, you won't be able to see the changes in the backend. Okay? You can give message, some debug message like record updated, and then close the connection. Okay. After executing that update query, you want to check how many records got affected. Actually, here only one record is going to get affected. If you want to find out because of that query, how many records got affected, that count you want, you can check it. There is one attribute called con.affected rows. This will return you the number of records affected. If you want, I'll show you this in a print. After every execute, you can print and see. Print what number of employees updated, colon, comma, con dot affected rows. That count you can print. Now in our case, it's going to be one only because this is the update query in such a way that it is filtering on the ID, and ID is the primary key. So always unique record only will be there. But sometimes like you're updating on the range base, or like you're writing where city equal to Pune. So you're updating the salary of all the employees who stay in Pune. So in Pune city, there can be many records. No? So the count of updated records can be more. So that you can check here. Okay. Suppose I'm giving employee ID 103, which is good, and the new salary, suppose I'm giving 75000. Enter. Getting? Actually, bound method effective row. It is returning an object.
TID, TID.
Uh, the order I have changed.
Uh,
Yes, yes, I got it. It didn't got affected. First, it should be while accepting, I accepted tsal, but in the query, it should be tsal first and tid here. Getting? One zero three 75000. Okay. But that number of rows affected, no, it is an object. So again, in that, there will be some method which will be, it is just an object. Actually, again, in that, you'll be having some method. All are hidden method, all are magic method, get or something. We'll check how to use it.
so we can't assign salary equal to T sal, ID, employee ID equal to TID like that. We can't do, or
Where you have to assign it.
No, I'm just
Assign.
asking.
No,
So
no,
so
in this,
many
uh,
so many columns is there means order may get changed now. So we can.
no, you have to give the tuple in that order only, which is there in the query. The order which is there in the query. In that order only, yeah, you have to give. Means you want to say like keyword concept, like bind this with this, bind this with this,
Yes,
like a
yes, yes.
dictionary, like a dictionary you can give. To execute, I think it is a tuple only. Means you want to say like that, no? Like let this order be anything. Pass a dictionary over here, and in the dictionary you should mention, right, that for salary you take this, and for employee ID you take this, like this only, no? So that the order can be anything. Like
Yes,
this I've
yes.
written first, this I've written. Let's check it takes an dictionary or no. Okay, but we will confirm whether the record is affected or not. Just now we did, no? Ninth. Yes, the record is affected. Okay. Now we will check whether the dictionary works or not. So if the dictionary, if you give, then the sequence doesn't matter, no? Because you have related what to what. ID to employee ID, T sal to sal. So if I write this later and this first, doesn't matter because the association is done. But it works or no, we will confirm. Okay. Like we'll take some other employee, 101 I'll take. It was 45,000, I'll make it 55,000. No. Okay, it doesn't work. It says that you cannot give that. You have to give a tuple only,
Okay.
not enough arguments for format string. This is a format string, no? So you need that many values. Salary, tsal, employee, tid. It will not associate. One thing you can do, you can make the query. We'll check. Okay, I'll find out whether that dictionary concept is there or not.
Okay. So one more doubt. In that query, percentages we are giving now. So
Huh.
that is string format only we need to give always, is it?
No, it is not compulsory, but if you give also string, MySQL will take care of it. Like if you give in place of float string, doesn't matter. It will automatically store it in the float form. Actually, where float only, where int only, you have to give. But still, if you keep everything string, MySQL will take care of it. MySQL says where integer is needed and you give string, doesn't matter. It will automatically consider that as an integer. Okay. So MySQL doesn't complain. Okay. I'll tell you. In curve dot execute. See, it is saying you can use dictionary, but I think so that query part you have to change. Yes, you can use dictionary with, but only if your query, uh, SQL query uses a named placeholder, not percentages. That's what I was having doubt. Instead of percentage S, you have to write brace bracket TID.
Salary.
Huh,
Salary.
that way. No, what is going to get replaced? Or just write brace bracket. Okay, see. See, the query is even. Percentage round bracket salary, percentage round bracket employee, and then it is replacing. But then this is more work, na? Because in the query also you have to give that association, right or no? Within the query also you have to give that association. See it like this. You cannot write only this. Here you have to write bracket, uh, which column should come over there? Salary. Here what should come? EMPID. Okay, and now you can do it. So now what it will do in this query, wherever named placeholder has come, this is a named placeholder. So wherever salary, it will replace T-sal. Wherever employee ID, it will replace TID. Now the order also doesn't matter. If this is first, this is later, will work. Okay, but at least we got to know. No? At least the concept we got to know that yes, we can pass that. See, 101 I'm doing, and the salary already it was. Now I'll make 70,000. Okay, unsupported format character W. You have to write that S also. I forgot to put. Originally it was percentage S only, no? That S you should not forget. This also S. Initially we were just writing percentage. Now it is named percentage. See. So 101 and the salary is 70,000. Now it worked. You can check the previous query. 9 or 8 I worked. I think in 8 we displayed all, no? All records. See, 101. It has become 70,000. Okay, so you can do, but you need to use all such concepts. Okay, getting, no? So you have to make a named
Yes.
placeholder, named placeholder. And
Right.
then,
Okay.
but it's not necessary that you have to give this name only. Like here you write bracket X percentage, bracket Y percentage. So here outside you have to write that for what is well. Means you have to write X key value T cell, Y key value TID, like that. These named things what you have given. No? This you can give anything. Like I can write X, here I can write Y. Getting? So when I'm creating this tuple, I have to write like this. Like X, here I'm writing Y. And the order also doesn't matter. Getting? Like employee 102 55,000. I'll try to change it. I'm making 65,000. See, still it works. See, 102 65,000. Getting? So clear. I mean, at least you got to know this concept. Then you can do deleting also. Deleting the record from the database. So which query you'll issue? Instead of update query, you'll issue delete query. And when we'll go to Django web framework and all, no, you'll see you don't have to write this queries also. All that Django framework only will take care of. It will directly map your class to a table. And all these things that Django framework only will take care of. In that you don't have to write also single line query. Getting? So how the benefit you get that you'll realize it when you learn such frameworks. So deleting record, which query I have to give? Delete query. See, query equal to delete from employee, where employee ID equal to percentage. Again, here also that named placeholder you can do. Okay, so this is your query. Then to run the query, we need a cursor object. You know it already. Cursor.execute, give the query. And in the query, we have only one placeholder. So this is tuple of that one value. Commit and then give the message record deleted. Okay? Record deleted successfully. Commit is again necessary, remember. Okay. Now one thing. Again, one more thing we will try to find out. I'll tell you. This chat GPT, as much we ask, it doesn't tell only that much. It tells a lot of more things and leads us to more confusion. It is not precise. Along with that, it tells so many more things. Okay, I was just supposed to ask that rows affected. Okay, how to print how many rows got affected. Okay, there is one concept called row count. Row count we have to use. We were using which one? Affected rows. Instead of that, there is one property called as row count in every cursor. Cursor.row count. It will tell you how many records got affected. Okay, we will use. What I'll do is instead of deleting one record, we'll try to delete in some range. Okay, the start range and the end range like that. Means the records within that range, I'll try to delete. So more than 55,000 and less than 60,000. All the records whose salary is more than 55 and less than 60. So more than 55 is this is one record and this is second record. Means between 55 and 60. So between 55 and 60, this is 1, 2, and 3. So these three records should get deleted and we should get the count also. Okay. So what script you'll write? I'll create a script. pdbc 11.py. Okay. Some part is same import, then connection, then con.cursor, right? Now, instead of this query, I'm going to write some other query. Delete from employee. And the condition I'm going to give like that, where salary between percent %s and percent %s. Okay. So I'm giving a query like this, delete from employee where salary between first percentage to second percentage, both inclusive. Now this start salary and end salary, if you want to take from the keyboard, you can give it. Hard coded you want to give, you can give. For time being, I'm giving hard coded, suppose. Query, and I'll give the tape tuple of that values. First I told 55,000 to 60,000. So all the employees whose salary lie in this range will be deleted. Okay, commit, and then I want to print how many records got affected. Okay, so I want to print that count like this. Number of records deleted, comma, and cur dot row count is there. You can print that row count and then close the connection. Let's check. Okay, 11th script. See, is it showing number of records deleted? 3. So it is 3 only. We were having 3 records only, which were in the range 55 to 60. See here, 56500, 5500, and 5600. Okay. Now if you run this query, now you won't see that 3 records. Gone. Those which were in 55 to 60,000. And we printed also the number of records. How many records got affected? That count also we printed. Okay. So updating part is okay. Then deleting is done. 2 times it has come here. Okay, it got copy pasted from here to here. Okay. Deleting is already shown on the next slide. Sorry. Here. Done. So delete those records. They're gone. Next is if you want to search the record. So searching is select query only, but select with a where clause. Is it right, guys? If I want to select the search any record, so searching will be done on what basis? On the where clause. When you write select star from employee, it gives all the record. But if you write select star from employee, where employee ID equal to something, so only that specific record will be. That is searching. So for searching, there is no special query. The query is select query only, but select query with where clause. Okay, let's see. I want the details of employee ID 107. Okay, I want the details of employee ID 107. So I'm giving a query like this. Select star from employee where employee ID equal to that placeholder, %s. Then you are executing the query. You're giving the query and that tuple employee ID, the value in that tuple. Okay. Then you get the record from the employee table, which is matching that employee ID. You're fetching that record and you're printing. Okay. Like in our example, suppose we are accepting that employee ID also from the user. Okay. And we will try to print whether the record is found or not. That too we will see. Okay. Some initial part, I hope you know it. Till cursor. Okay. You can build the query. Query will be like this: select star from employee where empid equal to %s. This is the value which we are going to substitute. This is the placeholder. Now first we'll accept employee ID. TID equal to int input enter employee ID to search. Okay. Now we will substitute this TID over here and execute the query. So for executing the query, we need a cursor object. Cursor object dot execute, pass the query, okay, comma, pass that tuple of TID. Now you have given that TID, replace that matching TID record will come. Let's fetch it. So row equal to cur dot fetch 1. But there is chances that that fetch 1 also fails because you have given such ID which doesn't exist only. So this will be an empty tuple. You can print like that. If row, if row, if row means that row contains value. Row is a tuple, so that tuple is not empty. If the tuple is not empty, so not empty tuple is true in Boolean. In Boolean data type, it will be automatically considered true. True, so print that row. Okay? Else give message, okay, like this. Employee ID, TID, not found. Okay? Con dot close. Right? Check. Now I'll give some employee ID like 101 only. Is it returning the details of 101? 101 details have come. But suppose you're giving such employee ID which is absent. I think we have deleted some. 1, 2, 3, 4 has gone, 5, 6, 7 also. So I'll give 104. So is it giving message 104 not found? Okay. And this is already there on the slide. Actually, I just searched in the chat in the our AI tool, right on chat GPT. I asked to the chat GPT, but before that, I have actually mentioned it on the slide. Row count, like you want to find out how many records got affected. Okay, so you can get it with row count. Not only for insert, delete, and update. Like after every insert, you want to find how many records got inserted, or after delete, how many got deleted, after update, how many got updated. Even for select query also, you can find out how many records have fetched. Getting? You can use this row count. So in this query also, instead of fetching, you can directly find out the row count. If the row count is 0, directly give message not found. And if the row count is not 0, then fetch it and print it. That way also you can do it. Understanding? See, in this query only, I'm fetching it and checking whether the fetch is successful. If the fetch is successful, we are printing, otherwise error. Instead of that, can I use like this also? I'll remove this. I'm using it here. I'm fetching and printing. And here I'm checking only cur.row count, okay, equal to or greater than. Now employee ID is unique, so you can check 1. So if this query is giving you one row count, means one record has come, fetch it and print it. Otherwise, you can give errors. So this way also it will work. Means you can make use of row count. Okay? 104 not found. 102 present. We are taking help of row count. So row count also you can make use of, right? And suppose when you're doing all this database operation and some error has occurred in the backend, like you're inserting a record, but that record is violating primary key. You're trying to insert a record, but that record is already present in the database. So MySQL is going to generate which exception? MySQL is going to generate which error? Primary key error, primary key violation. So that is the error of MySQL. But that corresponding error you can convert to Python exception. And who does that conversion of MySQL error to Python exception? Your connector. So connector does that matching. That is, for appropriate MySQL error, it will generate the corresponding Python exception. And then you can trap that exception using a try-catch block. You can write a robust script like this. See. So exception handling also you can do, like you're doing the connection. Okay. You're doing the connection. And if there is no problem in the connection, there's nothing failed in this whole connection process. So obviously, if the connection is successful, it will not throw any exception. It will come down. It will print connected and then come to finally. Finally, by any means, it is going to run. Remember, guys, exception is raised or exception is not raised. It is sure going to run finally. But if exception is raised, then it will come to except, do the except work, and then still run finally. Understanding? Finally is by any means going to run. Exception occur or not occur. So in this code, if the connection fails because of some wrong parameter, the password is wrong or database doesn't exist, so this connect will throw an exception. Actually, exception has occurred from MySQL side, but the connector is taking that MySQL error and matching it to the corresponding Python exception. And the exception raise control come to except block. We are printing that error, and after printing error, it will come to finally. And if there is no problem, still it will come to finally. So in finally, what we are doing, we are checking whether the connection exists. Yes, so close the connection and give the message. Okay, so what we'll do is we will try to throw this exception in that insert query, in that insert program which we did today. This one. So in this case, if that ID exists already, so it is going to raise the error, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 we don't have, 6 and 7. Okay. So when it will come to 5, will it throw primary key error? 5 is already there. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll take this whole script and shift it to some another program. And I'll show you how the exception can be handled. And when you handle exception, your program is gracefully terminating instead of generating all that errors. And you remember or no? Suppose I run this whole script again. Which script it was? 6, I guess. See, it is sure going to generate an error. Is it giving an error? 105 duplicate entry. But this is the error and your script has terminated. It shows the error and the script terminated. We need to gracefully handle it. Gracefully take the care. All such errors should not generate. These are the errors generated by your Python interpreter. You should handle this and give the graceful messages and continue with your program. Getting clear? So suppose in connection part only we are checking whether the connection is failed and all. There it is, 13. Okay, I'm creating a connection. Everything I'm writing in a try block. Try, print, connection, successful. Okay, except, okay, and just error message, but you want to trap that exception object also. Then you can write like this, exception as E, and then you can print that exception object only. When you're printing that exception object, it is going to call that magic method double underscore str double underscore, and that magic method will print some string, what the error was. Okay? And finally block. In finally block, we are just checking whether the connection is existing or not. If on, okay, then we are closing the connection. On dot close. Okay, and we'll give the message connection closed. Okay. Now, if I run this program, it is not going to give any exception because everything is fine. So it will give message connection successful. It will come to finally connection object is existing, therefore it will close and then give the message connection closed. Okay. Python pdbc 30. Connection successful. Then it comes to finally and connection closed. Done. But now what we'll do, we'll try to raise the exception. So purposely I'll give some password wrong, right? So if the password is wrong, connection will fail. And when the connection fail, MySQL generates a error. That error your connector traps and converts that MySQL error to the appropriate Python exception. Then the exception is raised. It comes to exception block. That object only you're printing. So it will give the description. Then come to finally. But in finally, as connection object only doesn't exist, it will not do this because connection only was not created. Right? But now in this case, this con object only doesn't exist. No? So you have to cross verify that really that object exists or not. Okay? Directly we cannot do it. Means, no, we have to check whether that object, it is saying that object only name con is not defined. Why? Because the connection only failed, so this object only didn't get created. So we have to make some more robust way, something more we have to check whether it exists or not. Okay? In Python, there is some provision to check whether the name is existing or not. Means really that variable exists or no. Okay? See here. How to check. There are functions, I guess. Con, no, no, no. Name error. Okay, so if it doesn't, so how to trap it? Again, here in the so they're saying initialize con to none. Is before only, before doing everything, first only you can create a con object and create and store none in it. So that if the connection is successful, in that the connection object will come. And if failed, then it is none. So no problem will arise. Okay? See ya. Getting? So is it throwing exception? As the password was wrong, it has thrown a exception. Connection failed. Therefore, exception raised, it has come to except block. Therefore, it is not giving this message. From here only the control has come here. And then we are printing that exception object only. So what is it describing? It is describing that access denied, the password is wrong. This is the description you're getting because of passing that exception object to print. And then it comes to finally. But when it comes to finally, con is none because connection was not successful. So con is none. And if none means false, so it doesn't go inside. Understanding? So this way you can handle exceptions also. Even for insert also you can handle. Like suppose what I'm doing, I'm removing this. So connection will be successful. Okay. Now after this, what we'll do is we will insert one record. And while inserting, we will raise a primary key violation. Okay, so insert we have done, hard-coded insert is there, then runtime also is there. So what I'll do, I'll copy this code.
Six, file six.
Huh, we have six is for multiple insert. No? So I'm inserting only one specific record. So I'll take the value from the keyboard and insert. Only this much part I'll put it in 13. Okay, here I'm putting that as it is Python. Python is having everything on indentation. See, the moment I do indentation correctly, see. So I'm trying to insert a record. So I'm asking ID, name, salary, then I'm creating a query with placeholder, executing it. If it is successful, record, insert it. But suppose if this execute fail, why? Because the ID already exists. If the ID already exists, so is MySQL going to generate primary key error? That primary key error which MySQL has generated, your connector will take that, convert it to the appropriate Python exception, and then the Python exception which is raised will come to accept that Python exception object you're printing, and then it will come to finally also. Okay? But now in this case, it will close the connection because connection was successful. Only the query execution failed. See, right? Connection successful. Now it is asking. Suppose I'm giving same 101, which is already there. Okay. Now name Amit Shah is there. Okay. I'm changing the name, but doesn't make any difference. It will not get saved only. And I'm changing the salary, but it didn't get saved because 101 is already there. So when it is executing this insert query, MySQL has generated primary key error. That error which MySQL generated, your connector has detected that error, converted it to the appropriate exception. Which side? Python side. And Python side exception, which is raised, it comes to except block. That exception object we are printing. So this is the description. And then it comes to finally, and in finally, as the connection object was there, it is closing the connection and giving that message. Because in this case, the connection was existing, the query failed. Okay?